Hello and welcome to Kingston Now. I'm Jimmy Buff. This week we have good news for pickle lovers. We've got good news for aspiring writers, and we start with one of the first events of the holiday season, the Uptown Kingston Snowflake Festival and Parade. Welcome to the show, Haynes Llewellyn from Cuba, the Kingston Uptown Business Association. Robert Tonner also from that, but you're also from Friends of Historic Kingston. In small towns and small cities like Kingston, a lot of people wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
So tell me what Cuba does.
Well, the purpose of Cuba is to promote business development in the city of Kingston, also to have the businesses working together and working together as a unit to bring in new businesses, to promote the uptown area, and to kind of bring a new livelihood to the new uptown area. We've been very successful with new businesses. Robert's the new president of the board, so we've really been moving very fast this year. We started a pride committee this year. You'll walk around town and you'll see the Uptown Pride stickers. Has a tree on it, they're orange and green. They're very nice. Julie Jordan from Herzog's designed those for us. So that's a very nice thing. We're very glad to have Robert as the president. Robert's been doing a great job.
And you moved your business into Uptown Kingston a couple of years ago, Tonner Doll Company.
3 years.
3 years, right? Yeah. You were on the cover of Ulster magazine. You see yourself looking out at yourself everywhere you go.
Having dinner where you see those posters, you know, it's a little freaky.
So how has it been in the 3 years that you've been in Uptown Kingston, and now that you're the president of Cuba? How does that inform what you're going to do?
Well, first of all, I think they got the new guy and they kind of suckered him into this job. But no, it's a great organization, and but I've been here for 3 years, and I've seen a kind of a drastic change between what was here. Like, you know, 3 years ago when we moved up, I'd leave the office 5:30, 6. And the streets would be deserted. And it's not like that anymore. I mean, the restaurants that have come in, amazing restaurants, great boutiques, it's really changing. And the feel, you see these young kind of hip people walking around Uptown Kingston. It's really cool. So
one of those hip things that's happened in the past few years in Uptown Kingston is the O Positive Festival, which took place back in October. Though I was surprised reading in the Daily Freeman recently that not everyone seems to be on board with that kind of energy. Is that frustrating as someone who's trying to bring business to Uptown? It
is frustrating, and I think sometimes they don't have, the complaints come from people, and it's not really complaints. The griping comes from people who they don't really have a problem with O Positive or what they're trying to do, because it's a wonderful organization, and but with some of the ways art is portrayed in Uptown, people are on the fence about that. But I think for the most part everybody's on board with that. It pains me sometimes to see complaints when we're really moving, when Kingston's really moving. But change is difficult for everybody.
And you get the sense that the people who are commenting online on the Freeman's website aren't the people who are coming out to these events, to these restaurants, to these things anyhow. I mean, that's sort of a feeling I get when I read them.
A lot of times not. But
one of the premises,
oh, you know some of the anonymous handles, huh? Okay.
I think one of the premises is too that it is a historic area, and there are issues with the Landmarks Commission when things are done to the buildings, and a lot of people have to spend a lot of money when they redo the facades of their buildings. And I think that O Positive is a great organization that's done a wonderful job. Joe and Kevin and the group are really great guys. I think that they weren't quite aware of some of the issues related to the historical facades, and I think that's a slight issue that's being addressed, and I think that'll move forward. I mean, Gaia that did the mural, he has a mural right now at the Horse Shore, and he has one at Rice University. I just got a message from him. He just left Rome and is off to Lexington now to do another mural. So he's a very active guy, and I think once people realize, if you bought that mural, it's a $20,000 mural.
Yeah.
So
where would you hang it, though?
Where would you hang it? Exactly.
On the back of a 6-story building. Yeah. Now we've got the Snowflake Festival and Parade coming. It's got a new name this year.
Yes, it's Snowflake.
It used to be the open house, right?
The holiday open house. Started by Karen from Bop to Totem and Linda from Full Circle. They did a great job. They did it for about 7 years, I believe. I think it's 6 or 7 years. And it was like a 2-woman show. And they, with their energy and everything, they were amazing. They got this off and running. Both of them at the same time kind of had to pull back this year, and so they asked Cuba to step in and help, and we were more than happy to do that.
It's Friday, December 6th.
December 6th from 5 to 8:30.
There's going to be a parade.
It's going to be a fun parade, yeah.
It's going to be a larger parade. It starts at the stadium, goes up North Front Street to Fair Street, to Main Street, then back down to Wall Street for the lighting of the Christmas tree.
And you're going to have a grand marshal this year.
Yes, Evie Larios is going to be our grand marshal. The whole theme this year is giving back to the community. We've tied with 2 charities. One is New Coats for Kids, and one is Toys for People's Place. And recognizing the charities, we also thought it'd be nice to recognize someone in the community that's done a lot for the community. And Mrs. Larios, since she moved here in the 1950s, has done nothing but be involved in community projects and has really been a community leader. So it's kind of a great way to say thank you to her as well.
Terrific. Now, how's it going to work for the charities? How will people be able to donate?
Be able to donate new coats to their various drop-off points.
For New Coats, all the Roundout Savings Bank branches, even to Hyde Park, are accepting the coats. Outdated Cafe is accepting them as well, and on Wall Street. And if you want to, you can also drop them off at the George Washington School as well. And then for People's Place, the drop-offs are the Rhinebeck Savings Bank, the Senate House, the Friends of Historic Kingston Museum the night of the festival itself, and then People's Place as well. You could drop them off.
That's a toy drive.
And that's the toy drive.
Yes.
And so in addition to the parade, the open house is pretty much still in effect. The businesses like yours are open that night.
We'll be open, and we hope to see as many people as
Yeah, your
the
place
door.
with the dolls, extraordinary.
Oh, thanks,
I've been there in previous open houses, and it's just a really great festive scene in there.
Yeah,
And
we have a good time.
And we have to thank Christine Hine. She's my co-chair. Christine and I are
absolutely.
actually chairing the festival and the parade, and Christine has really taken over the parade and has really been working nonstop. She wears many hats herself, and she's been doing a great job, and we're really glad to have her helping us out.
It's always a great first event of the holiday season, and always manages to snowflake just a little bit for real, too.
I hope it does.
We hope so.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you very
Our
much.
pleasure.
Up next is Marianne Erickson, who will tell us about a cool writing contest. This is Kingston Now. Stay with us. Welcome back to Kingston Now. Marianne Erickson is the co-owner of Blue Mountain Bistro to Go on Route 28 in Kingston, and she's also an artist. We're going to talk about both of those things right now. Hi, Marianne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's start with Blue Mountain Bistro to Go. You actually used to have a restaurant in Woodstock called Blue Mountain Bistro, right?
Correct.
And it was, go in and sit down and have a dinner. And a few years back, you moved out to Route 28 for Blue Mountain Bistro to Go, which for people who haven't been there, is the most extraordinary food in the world. I mean, it's just so good. And the to-go part is because it's on Route 28 and it's easy to pull in, grab yourself some dinner, and go on your way.
Right.
Did you have any idea of how successful it would be when you moved out to Route 28?
We identified the fact that there was a need for delicious food that was easily accessible. And there weren't too many people providing that as a business in our area, and we had also identified that Route 28 was a great location, so we spent a couple of years actually to find the location, and it has really filled a niche that needed to be filled. People are extremely grateful we're there.
I mean, it's really high quality takeout. It is a salmon steak, or it is, and all of it's homemade, right? Right there in the location?
Well, Richard, my husband, and our other chef, Jonathan, are both very experienced restaurant chefs. They've both worked in the city at some very high quality restaurants, so, and also up here at some excellent restaurants. So we provide a very high quality restaurant food for people to take home and enjoy, or to eat in our store.
And I know that in that spot that you're in, you must be getting an extraordinary amount of people who are coming up just for the weekend, right? Coming to their homes for the weekend and picking up something terrific that's not fast food. It's to go, but it's not fast food.
Yeah, we knew that, there's no Dean and DeLuca or Balducci's or whatever up here, and we thought Ulster County needed that, so we created something like that.
And on the local front, I'll get a text from my wife that says, I need salmon tonight. Can you stop at? And I can zip in and zip out and bring that home.
Great.
So you're also an artist. How long have you been an artist? Has it been a lifelong passion?
Pretty much, yeah, since I was a little kid, yeah.
So have you been making art all along while you've been restaurateuring?
Yes, actually. When Richard and I met in New York City, I was a graphic artist, a commercial graphic artist, and when I graduated from art school in Los Angeles, I moved back east and started working in the city right away. And he and I met, and we ended up moving upstate. And that's when I really started painting and gave up my commercial art career.
Your paintings these days have a particular focus. You have a website called VanishingRoadside.com, and your paintings are of...
I've actually been documenting this topic for over 30 years. And Whenever I travel, wherever I go, for all these years, I have been taking pictures of cool establishment signs, you know, whatever, kind of that kitschy roadside thing that we all took so for granted growing up in this country when, you know, everybody went on road trips, right, before the interstate came into the scene. So, yeah, you know, it's a tragedy, really. So much of our landscape has become homogenized with these large chains and big box stores, and a lot of the classic mom and pop establishments have been, you know, ameliorated. So it's something I think people really care about, and I get a lot of feedback from people that my work, it's kind of like when you hear a song on the radio that reminds you of your childhood or something, you know, that a lot of my paintings evoke that for people.
Sure, you look at one of your paintings and it's suddenly, you know, a warm summer day in a, you know, station wagon with the windows rolled down and the AM radio on, right?
Right.
It's a sort of a nostalgia
Exactly.
trip here, yeah. I've looked at your images a lot, and you know, that kind of disappearing thing is being chronicled in real time by you. It seems kind of unusual. It doesn't seem like that we've lost, like 100 years ago when we started losing a lot of historic buildings, that people were sort of paying attention that we were losing them, because we thought of it as you know, progress.
It's interesting, the preservation movements that are cropping up all around the country.
But are they happening for places like Horn of Plenty?
Yes, they actually are. In fact, I've gotten involved with a group out in Mesa, Arizona called the Mesa Preservation Foundation. And how I got involved with them was that I painted, in 2005, I actually painted this fabulous 100-foot sign of, it was an animated neon sign of these diving girls coming down into a splash of water, and it was for a motel called the Starlight Motel, which doesn't even have a pool anymore, actually. But that when they erected that sign, it could be seen all throughout the desert, and it was a mecca for people way back in the day that there was a swimming pool there. And a couple years ago in a big storm, the sign blew down, and the owners of the motel didn't have the money to rebuild it, and so many people in Mesa were really upset by the loss of the sign that they formed this organization to actually rebuild the sign, which cost $100,000, and they had all kinds of angels that helped, and I got involved by making some large giclée prints and selling them and donating some of the money from the sale of the prints to help them.
It's outstanding.
And actually the sign was re-erected, I believe, last fall.
Oh, that's great.
To a big ceremony, and everyone was cheering. And
well, and recently you've hooked up with the Woodstock Writers Festival to put some of your images in a writing contest, which I have to admit I participated in the previous one.
Story.
Thank you. You put an image up of one of your paintings and then asked people to write 300 words, a 300-word short story to that painting.
Correct.
And there is a current contest going on. It's going to go on for a couple more days, and people can see the image that they need to be inspired by to write the story at vanishingroadside.com.
Under new projects.
Under new projects,
Yeah.
Great. And then you'll announce the winner a week or so after.
November 29th, yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, it's great stuff you're doing, Marianne. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
This is Kingston Now. Next up, we're going to meet the Pickle people behind the International Pickle Festival. I'll try saying that 5 times fast in Rosendale this weekend. Stay tuned. You're watching Kingston Now, and we're joined by Bill and Kathy Brooks, the founders of the International Pickle Festival in Rosendale. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this is the 16th edition of the Pickle Festival?
Yes.
What in the world possessed you to start a pickle festival?
Well, we have a friend, Eri Yamaguchi, who comes over from Japan and visits us. And one year she says, I want to bring over some dignitaries in November, and we want to have a party for them. And Kathy has always been great at throwing parties, so we said, sure, no problem. And as she was leaving to go back to Tokyo, she said, they like pickles, and then left us here at our own thoughts as to what we're going to do with this. And first panic set in, and then we realized they have no clue what they're coming to, so we just plowed forward and started working around pickles. And we were hoping to get a couple hundred people to show up, to greet these people coming from Japan. And we might have got a little rambunctious with advertising, putting out flyers on cars and people's doorsteps. And, well, we had almost 1,000 people show up.
Wow.
To the first one.
First year.
Yeah. So here we are on 16.
How many different varieties of pickles were there at the first year, Kathy?
Couple
I'd
dozen.
say, yeah, about two dozen.
And how many will be there on Sunday?
50-something varieties of pickles.
So what, I mean, a pickle comes from a cucumber, right?
Yeah.
But you can pickle other things.
Once a pickle, never a cucumber again.
I've heard that said before in my life. Are people pickling other things besides cucumbers?
Yes.
They do carrots. They do just about any vegetable you can think of.
And on Sunday there's going to be pickle judging too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have 3 judges that come from, one comes from Ohio, a book writer. Eri Yamaguchi comes from Tokyo. Patrick Wilson is a chef in Westchester, and they come every year and they do the judging.
Is this the biggest pickle festival in the country, or it must be near?
It might not be the biggest, but it's the best.
Well said. Now, I know that there's the Garlic Festival in Saugerties, right, in September. I know out west they have chili pepper festivals. Do you know of other vegetable festivals? Are there around the country?
Well, there's a zucchini festival in Massachusetts. There's a potato festival in
Texas.
We were driving through one day and saw a potato festival. You know, so yeah, there are a few other pickle festivals around. Mount Olive Pickle Company is one of our sponsors. They send us pallets of goods that we use in the pickle juice drinking contest, and the pickle eating contest, and the pickle toss. And they also have a festival in the spring that we go to.
So the festival is this Sunday at the Community Center on Route 32 in Rosendale.
Right.
It starts at 10, goes till 5. Is there admission?
It's $3 a person, $5 a family.
Okay. And there's other things happening, right? Music and dancing and...
Music, crafts, things for the children, pickle picture drawing.
Candle making, just, you know, there's something.
Pickle candles?
Some green ones, yeah.
What makes a great pickle?
The fact that there's so many different pickles sort of says how many great pickles there are, because everybody has a different palate. Everybody has a different taste. Somebody says, I like the bread and butters, I like the gherkins, or I'd like to have a sour. As far as what's a great pickle is up to the person who's tasting them.
Mm-hmm. And do you have a particular favorite, Bill?
I like the gherkins.
Yeah, the sweet gherkins?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And Kathy, what about you?
I like the bread and butter.
Uh-huh. And you ever taste a pickle that was just too pickly for you?
The sour.
Okay, all right. Well, are there health benefits to eating pickles?
Well, one of the big things with pickle juice drinking is that it helps with leg cramps, and that was noted in a North Carolina newspaper in the sports section, of which they mentioned the Pickle Festival.
Where do people come from? Do they come from?
We have people, well, of course we have people coming from Japan. We have people that come from Canada.
California.
Now, are these people attendees or vendors?
Both. We have a new vendor this year from Delaware who's coming up to sell their pickles. It'll be their premiere. And we have people that got their start in pickles at the Pickle Fest.
Inspired to go make their own pickles.
Well, they made their own pickles on a home basis, and then started up. They brought them to the Pickle Festival, and that's where they got their start. We have people that's been on Martha Stewart and everything with their pickles that got a start at the Pickle Festival.
Well, that's outstanding. Pickle Festival is always the Sunday before Thanksgiving, so an opportunity too for people to stock up on some really great pickles before the big holiday meal.
Right, and there's the craft vendors. I mean, it's a good place to get Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Yeah. Is there an echo in here?
You must be married. Bill and Kathy, thanks for being here.
Thank you. My
Thanks
pleasure.
for having us.
That's it for this week's show. Thanks to Hayes Llewellyn and Robert Tonner. The Uptown Kingston Snowflake Festival and Parade is December 6th. Thanks to Marianne Erickson. To enter the latest story contest, go to VanishingRoadside.com. And for info about this Sunday's Pickle Fest in Rosendale, go to PickleFest.com or find them on Facebook. Remember, all of our previous shows are available on our YouTube channel, and you can find that link on our Facebook page. For Kingston Now, I'm Jimmy Buff. We'll see you next time.